So, why some people learn language better than others? But the fact that we need to realize is that we all have brain. Like, we all have it equally. Our brain, one brain per person, that can really handle well on language. Do you know why that's the fact? Because everybody speak languages, right? Everybody speak language, and everybody did that, learned that, acquired at least one language without making an effort, right? This is the secret that we need to really realize and really dig really deep down into it, because there is a perfect solution in that secret, right? And really, the reason why typical adult have a hard time to learn English, or I'm sorry, in my case, my second language that I tried was English, and it took so long. And that's one of the experience I'm creating this based on. And the second thing that my experience was my third language, Spanish, and I did that in relatively fast. I mean, amazingly fast. And I think, I came to the realization that it's all about, like open-minded. People use the word open-minded, but you really need to get to that state, real, actual open-minded, fully open-minded state, where you are so flexible, you can absorb anything that comes in as without fighting the fact that is different than the language and also it's about the decision making, that you have to really decide that you're gonna get it, because you're gonna come across with many obstacles daily basis that prevent you from doing things that easily can easily make you acquire the new language. And I'm telling easy because, like, sometimes it's a matter of keep doing things that takes like a minute or two, but if you keep doing those things daily basis consistently, and that will make a significant difference. And that's how actually the children learn their first language or second, third language easily, because they don't have any ideas or concepts that is very partial and kind of egos that we develop as becoming adult. And the children don't have any of that. That's why they can easily learn languages, and actually that is the power of the brain that we all have. And actually adult has more mature brain that can think and mind the language, logic of language better. So actually, if we get the mind state, open-minded states that children have, then we actually even have a better advantage of matured brain, which can understand the language better. So that's kind of thing that I had realized, and I've been thinking to make this into something. For example, one of the things that people tends to fall into the rabbit hole, so to speak, is that when you're learning other language, a lot of people think the pronunciation or the way they speak other language is kind of funny, because it's different from your first language, right? So when it comes to practicing actually speaking with the proper pronunciation of how things are spoken, for example, especially like English has a strong enunciation and intonation, and some other language don't have that. And when people try to practice actually in their head, in subconscious mind, people are thinking that is funny. Okay, but when you think funny, do you think you're gonna seriously tackle on that you appear funny? I don't think so, because if you do really do it and then you ended up being funny, and people might laugh at you, and that's what in your subconscious mind, what's the thought process is going to be happen, because nobody really actually would laugh at you, but you would think in subconscious mind, subconscious level. You're not thinking about the conscious level about that. But so a lot of time it's about really accepting the new way that you're gonna learn, because it's going to be completely different, like a different standards. Your norm, the standards that you think are completely irrelevant anymore. So that and this concept applies to anything that you come across in your life. But that's something, one of the things learning language can actually teach you about everything else too. And actually I'm guilty of that a lot of time, like almost my throughout my entire life up to this point. So that's why I want to put this out, so that it can change, or do something about it, because it's like we are, if we don't realize this and we don't change, we are wasting entire life, and that's scary. So I'm really still a lot of time still guilty of that. So that for example, I can't take certain action that I knew or I know that I really need to take, but in subconscious mind something is going, so I can take action, or I even trick myself that I am taking actions, but actually not. So, and I want to change that, right? And I'm changing, and I change, and that happened to, I think that can happen to anyone. And but you have to start somewhere, right? In my case, I have to start somewhere. I have to find the point that I can start this journey, big journey, long journey. I don't know if it's long or short, whatever, so my starting point that I figured out is to teach Spanish. And Spanish for me is special, because I have experienced like two experience, both extreme. My first language Japanese, my second language was English, and it took me, I don't know, like I could even say took me almost close to 20 years to get it. Depends on how you actually look at it, but it took really long time, but when I started or decided to study Spanish, I did it so fast. And of course, I have so many rooms to improve, but now I speak 3 languages, and then the third language I did it so quick that, and I came to the realization that because of the experience with the learning English, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew what exactly I should avoid, kind of situation that I fall into. So that's why. So I think everybody has their own pace, like with everything, language or anything else. And that's why you want to try accelerated paths, because if you do it things slower than your actual pace, the pace that you are optimized, or that you have it in nature, your nature. If you do it slower than that, you will never find your ultimate pace. And eventually you want to find your pace so that you can be as efficient as possible to do anything, to learn anything. But if you do it in the accelerated method, like, you might feel like it's too much, or feel uncomfortable, a lot of things coming in your a brain. But when you do it accelerated speed, I think eventually you will end up to your optimal pace. But if you never do that, if you do slower than your own true pace, then you're never gonna find the optimal pace that you have as your personality. So that's why I think it's super important to do it accelerated method, which means like almost like smash all like possible information into your brain and see what happens, and then let brain process, even like subconscious mind process those information, and ultimately you will find your own pace.